Hey world, this is Major with Major TV. Let's talk. I just was thinking, right, while I was driving, that I need to express my hurt and pain. A lot of times, we tend to hold things inside. We tend to not really consider the moment in which we have been through so much individually and collectively. And I really felt that if I just was to just express myself, I may feel better today. What I mean, my hurt and my pain. For a very long time, very long time, I was younger, I didn't know think about black people because we went around ridiculing ourselves, talking down on ourselves, and finding very little good to say about us. When I was growing up in the housing projects in New Orleans, I could remember that the only thing associated with black people was sports, crime. I'm talking about being televised. Hollywood definitely do us any good. And it's been like, we've been having like we've been in a box, like in a prison, right? Really just trying to feel our way through. And I know that what I may say, some people really probably don't care. Probably think I'm complaining. Probably think I'm playing a race card. Probably think I'm pointing fingers. But you know what? I'm speaking my piece and I'm saying what is real. Whether you agree or don't agree. For those who agree, let me say this. Image of black people for a very long time have been very derogatory, ugly, and misleading. I have watched news after news with people being featured, not just on Fox, CNN, and what have you, but I've seen people say things like, it's out of so many, I guess, 3 out of 5 blacks will be like in prison, on parole, are gonna be arrested. And when they talk about the drug use, the crime, the violence, and so forth, so on, then they say, look at the facts. The facts speak for itself. So what are you saying? We are inherently criminal? This narrative was a big narrative back then. It's changing a little, but you still have those staunch conservatives, those whites, and sometimes blacks who really feel that our situation was something that genetically or inherently in us, that we are criminally minded, that we are violent and so forth, so on. That's why I don't buy into the narrative, and I hate when black people talk about black on black crime running with the Fox narrative. No such thing as that. Any people, group of people who live among each other, share the same skin color, have mishaps, miscommunications, and issues. It's not too many diverse communities that deal with this, but a lot of these communities are concentrated. Black over here, white over here, Asian, Latino, so forth, so on. So, kick rocks with all the nonsense, because as far as I'm concerned, I know that our people tried during slavery, after slavery, and when I say slavery was one of the biggest biggest setback. But even post-slavery, we had to go back to the plantation to work. We was not even given wages. We was doing consignment. And then we went around town, was given a hard time. We did decide to build a black community. Tulsa, for example. They came in there and burnt it down. For a very long time, I've watched people do the right thing and go nowhere. I watch people start off on the right track and get discouraged on the wrong track. I'm like, damn, why it's like that? I'm going to tell you why. When there's no role models in your community that stands out, meaning that you do have people that come out the community that make it. But in a lot of our impoverished, poverty-stricken communities, very few is getting through the cracks. What I mean, we had to fight for everything. It's like I said, we boxed in, like we're in a room and we try to find our way out. We beating on the wall. I'm talking about we trying to find hammers. I mean, we keep punching it, we kicking it, and then there was some cracks and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And someone was able to make a hole and get out, but a lot was left behind. And then they say, well, those people over there, they're doing good, like the Oprah Winfrey's, you know, this person, that person. But that don't speak for the whole black community, especially the black community that have been held back, that have been discriminated against. How can you justify that? But then there are those who made it, like myself. It was hard going to the projects. It was hard not having a dad around and mom doing her part to make a way, but not really addressing the socials we face as black people, even in our own community, how there's so much hate. So I'm appalled by the fact that we've been sold and thinking that things that happen in our community is because we the fault. I think that's a bad narrative. All right, brother, thank you. I think it's a bad narrative, and that's completely messed up because our kids are watching. Black people are watching. Other communities are watching. We wonder why there's police violence in our community. Because we are told, it is expressed and told everyone else there's something wrong with us. That we inherently violent and criminal. And that is not felt by a long shot. But guess what? A lot of us, we become suffocated by it. We become discouraged. We go to really feeling like inside of us, we the problem. And at one time, I thought I was the problem, right? And I never forget when I first caught a real case and I was going to prison. And all the time I was facing at 17 and what have you. I let it cry tears because I'm like, at one time I wanted to play ball, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. And I got caught up and sucked up into the everyday drama of the black community that led me into a criminal mindset and the way of doing things. And I was just baffled of it, right? You know what, to find out, damn, you know, I really thought we was the problem. Like I said, I really found out, damn, we not the problem. You know what I'm saying? They're the problem. They created all this mess and they want to point the finger at us. Like I said, post-slavery, it was, I don't even want to describe, you know about atrocities. And even when you look at everything, like I was talking about the We all in the box, beating on the road, people getting through the cracks and what have you. We had to fight for that. The red line and predatory lending, poor education, wasn't being represented politically properly. It was tearing out every economical opportunity around us. They was creating all kinds of traps that we was falling into by putting drugs, guns in our community. And the reason why I feel like we where we at because of the constant, persistent push by our forefathers and foremothers to create the cracks we can get through them. Which we know by Civil Rights Act, and we know by a lot of the laws. Because you remember, the laws that was for us. Constitution was created for them. Once we were free, it said apply for us, but we know one thing. It was applied as half-ass, or very little, or none. Our Fourth Amendment violations are violated every day. They water down the Fourth Amendment so much that it's so easy to just violate somebody and raid their home without a warrant, pull them over without proper cause, without a warrant, and then once you conform, like you are in the 60s, 40s, 50s, whatever, with your head down and accepting the nonsense. But the funny part, we had to learn their law. They didn't apply and throw it back in their face. That's how I come home. I had a lot of time I was dealing with. And we had to throw it back in their face and get opportunities by showing them that you said this, you're doing that, so you should give us this. We had to fall tooth and nail to get that. So my hurt and pain is simple. The cracks that's been created and that four-corner wall that we've been put in, been fought. And guess what? In 2020, we still fighting for just some basic freedoms, basic equality. They be treated like a human. Because see, I'm going to tell you, what I'm not saying is this that I need to say. A lot of us have given up. A lot of us have fell on our face, got discouraged, been kicked, spit on, what have you, and just gave up, flat gave up. And it's painful. It hurt. Because my life is going pretty good. I look around at my family, friends, other people. It's not going too good. Look at my community. It's not going too good. And it became a norm to accept the mental, emotional, physical abuses. It's going to do what? Eventually mess with the spiritual. That's spiritual. And that's the only thing we can hold on to keep us strong outside us fighting. But this got to change. It will change. I believe. And my God tell me, nothing comes to a fighter while I demand. Nothing comes to somebody who wants something without reaching for it, giving an earnest, sincere effort. Our people fought. They didn't give up. They risked their lives. So we shouldn't give up. So look, this is Major TV. Let's talk. Let's have the real conversation. Let's have some engagement going on. Leave some comments. Subscribe, like, and share. Until next time, take care and be blessed. One.